back and
just looking at
don't take them out.
No lead toys.
Yeah,
It's cheaper than lead.
Yeah, they're cheaper with the lead.
You know what, though? This is the season of the consumer, though. The consumer is going to win big time. It's companies that are going to be suck and win by the end because they have no profits to speak of out of this because they're discounting things so much, giving the house away practically.
So Friday, when we find out nobody's shopping, we're going to make people shop because it's the number one shopping day of the year. What I'm looking more forward to is the Monday. Isn't it Cyber Monday? When everyone stays home or goes to work and orders stuff?
But I've been getting emails that say, shop on Friday. We got big discounts for you online.
Yeah.
Oh, they were emailing you. They know where their customers are. I'm like, I don't get them at all. I walked through the mall to go to Penn Station, which, by the way, is on high alert. Thanks. Good job. And I go to the mall. They are opening up at 5 in the morning. How could you shop at 5 in the morning, the day after Thanksgiving? Does that make sense to you?
But there'll be probably discounts from like 5 to 7, and really big ones, and they'll get progressive. I mean, people will be out there.
Yeah, and that's the challenge. I mean, it's a race to the bottom for these retailers, right? Because they feel like they have to blow out their discounts early or they're going to miss the boat.
But I just spoke to a group of luxury marketers in Asia, and it's phenomenal. For the first time, you see luxury marketers are discounting their products.
Yes.
They're offering coupons, incentives.
But
it's amazing.
Does that make sense to you, Andre? Because if you're going for, name some of the luxury items that you think that they would be purchasing.
Well, Tiffany, Cartier.
Nordstrom, Saks, they're dying.
It's counterintuitive to think that you need 25% off something you're going to get at Tiffany's. If you're walking in that door, don't you think you can afford it?
But it gets you in the door.
It gets you in the door.
It
People
gets
want
you
to
in
know.
the door.
People want to know that they can get a deal now.
Yeah.
Right. No one's going to pay for retail for anything this holiday.
And I think what Tracy's saying is very important, that the key issue is value and workmanship right now. So everyone that buys something really wants to feel justified that I bought this and this was a good decision.
Well, also I think, and I have some relatives in retail, is that practical gifts are probably going to be.
Technology is going to be.
It's going to be the sweaters, and thank goodness if it's cold here, which it has been here in the Northeast, it kind of lends to those sales. They want to clear that inventory. So sweaters, the long johns, whatever you get for Christmas.
Stuff that they would have bought anyway, but now they call them presents.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's the other thing, and it plays into this other author, almost as good as you, Andre, wrote a book and talked about how all these kids are being raised liberal, and I thought it was ideological, and it wasn't. They just say that these kids today, the average kid, and it's a common phrase, does not feel like they had to get a job, does not feel like they had to work. They basically can drive the car they want, not necessarily rich, but the parents give them a certain amount of money, so they didn't really need to work, and if they don't need to work, why are you working? Now I knew that if I didn't get a part-time job somewhere, I wasn't going to have any spending money, so therefore the only logical thing to do was for me to work. You have to now be a parent, up until recently, to be a parent that says, I think it's good for my child to have a sense of what it's like to have a job, even though you could probably give that kid $20, $50 a week, $100 a week, and get them a car, and then not afford it. Do you think there's a whole group of people, 15, 20 years, 25 years old, that never went through anything like this? Never really knew that, you got to cut back, have one car, wait on lines for gas, which is not happening, thankfully, but have things more expensive and sacrifice.
Yeah, and they got trophies for losing, so they have no idea that there's anything.
Just for showing up.
Just for showing up. So they have no idea that there's anything bad
it was like the Gen Y kids got totally abused for being lazy and trying to go find themselves, and nobody wanted to find a job. Warren Buffett was just talking about this the other day, that the young generation coming up the ranks is going to get it now, that they have to work, that they have to save.
But how old are they now? What does he mean by young generation? The 10-year-olds?
I would say 10. I would say that's when that whole, well, I don't even know, does that generation have a letter?
Post-millennials. But the 25-year-olds now, 23-year-olds coming out of college, they're screwed.
They're all going to grad school.
Right.
They're all going to grad school. NYU said they had the highest enrollment
ever. Is that true?
Yeah. They're all going to grad school.
You know what else is benefiting? The military. They are now. No one's talking about it because it's a positive story out of something bad, but more and more people are saying the military is my best option.
Right.
So that certainly helps. Do you think do you notice that things are that maybe these 25-year-olds don't understand what it's like to sacrifice?
Oh, of course, they've been coddled. I mean, but you
through
can't
no fault of their own.
Right. But I mean, look, I have a niece and nephew, and they're my niece is 23 years old, and she was pretty, and her parents are two professors, and she had a very nice lifestyle, and she really did, and she began to work for me, and she saw how tough it could really be.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, and I happen to be, I have a child 25. I was a child bride myself.
It sounds like it.
12 special papers dispensation. But I could say I'm partially responsible for that because I said I didn't want her doing what I had to do anymore. And what that did is it just pushed off. I mean, she's very responsible now, but there was a period where you say, really, don't they understand the value of $1? Well, it's because
it's your fault.
Sure.
Yeah, it's our
I kind of said.
But Andre, I'm going to let you close with this. Regis Philbin, we had the same executive producer when I first started here. He worked for Regis. And Regis is unbelievably rich and successful, and he earned it. But he always feels like he's going poor.
Yeah.
And I said, what are you talking about? He always feels like he's going poor. He said they can't help it because his parents were through the Depression. He went through the Depression. They can never feel as though they have enough money, and if they can't feel it, they don't think it's theirs. I mean, do you understand that line of thought?
I do, and I think the Great Depression really left a tremendous impact on people of his generation, and I think it's one of the things that young people have not experienced. In fact, I fired my son because I felt that he didn't really understand the value of the dollar and working and so forth. So I think this is actually a good time to teach some great lessons about economics and personal finance.
That's it. I think unless by popular demand we have to stay over, I think for the first time ever, I'm out on time. Right at 2 o'clock.
Very good.
Am I right, Mikey? Yep. All right. Bill, Andre, John, Mike, and whatever her name is, Tracy, good job. Wonderful panel. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for the strategy room for now, but more exciting stuff coming your way as you get to watch the transition. So many were stuck watching the Video Professor ads on television, but here on the strategy room, we have no ads. Just Uma. It's not Uma? We finally figured out how to spell Pomeraju, and it's not her. Who is it, Mike? None of my
It's a
business?
surprise. It's a Thanksgiving Day surprise.
Whoever comes off the elevator next.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you.